Hello, my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I will be announcing my April TBR. So if you're new to my channel, then you may not know this, but I've been doing themed months for my TBRs. This just helps me pick books to read for the month, because otherwise I would go over to my shelves and I'm so indecisive I would end up not picking anything for the month. And because this is just a thing to help me get my unread books read, if I mess up and a book doesn't end up fitting the theme that I pick, I'm just going to laugh it off and keep reading it. So basically, once a book makes this video, it's locked in unless I just don't end up getting to it for whatever reason, but I'm going to try not to let that happen. So books can get added in, even books that have nothing to do with the theme at all, but none will be getting taken out. That being said, this month's theme is royalty. So that includes kingdoms, queendoms, empires, princess, princes, kings, queens, really just any form of court setting, etc. So I will be showing 11 books today, which I'm kind of scared about, especially the way March has gone for me so far. But none of them are too long. There really shouldn't be anything too bad going on this month, but I'll cross my fingers that these all get read. Also, this is one of my favorite genres to read. I'm a big fantasy reader, so with any luck, I'll just fly through these. And with that, let's get started. Also, these aren't in any kind of particular order, it's just alphabetical. And the first book is Ash Princess by Sebastion. Also, fair warning, all of my plots for these books are probably going to be pretty bad. Because I haven't read them yet, so I don't really know what they're about. But what I do know is that this is a book about a princess whose mother, who is the queen, is overthrown and the princess has to live prisoner in her own palace. And then one day something happens and that changes, and she decides to try to claim the throne for herself. And this is also something that's probably going to come up a lot today, but this does kind of sound a little like every YA fantasy ever, which does kind of scare me. But I do tend to enjoy that formula, so if it does it well, or if it does something to stand out from that typical formula, then I should have a pretty good time with it. But if not, there's probably just going to be a lot of 3 stars, maybe 2 this month. Yeah, so I'm not really sure where I'm going to land on this one, but I got this when I was searching for a new series to read, and hopefully I'll get into it. The next book is Descendant of the Crane by Joan. So in this book, the king dies and his daughter has to take up the throne, which would be hard enough on its own, but she also feels that as though somebody close to her was responsible for the murder of her father. So I'm not gonna lie, the cover definitely attracted me to this book, but it definitely sounds interesting as well, so I'm excited for it. And the next book is 8 Will Fall by Harian. And this is a book about our main character whose magic is forbidden by the queen. However, there is also an evil that is threatening the kingdom, so the queen enlists our main character and also 7 other outlaws to stop it. This book really excites me. It kind of reminds me a lot of 6 of Crows, which is either going to hurt this book very badly or it's going to help it a lot. I also always tend to love ensemble casts, and this seems to be featuring one as well. This sounds exactly like the type of book I can really love, and I'm so excited to read this one. And the next book is 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Sholte. And I just realized last night that this was the same author as The Vanishing Deep, which showed up in my last book haul. So I don't really know too much about this one, I just know our main character finds herself in a conspiracy when the 4 queens die. And at a point in time, this definitely sounded interesting enough for me to buy it. It also has deckled edges, I don't know if you can see them. So yeah, not much to say about this one, so I'm just going to keep moving on. And the next book is Scavenge the Stars by Pearson. Our main character, she is held captive on a ship, and then she saves someone from drowning, so they give her this opportunity to take on a completely new name and also to help her get revenge against the merchant that ruined her life. And then she also meets the heir to the empire, and things kind of go from there. I'm not sure where I got this from, but I do remember when this book first came out, I got very strong Nevernight Chronicle vibes from it. And that was really all I needed. I'm not sure I'm still getting those kind of vibes from it, but at one point in time I did. It was that vibe and also the fact that I just have a really good gut feeling about it that made it onto this list. The next book is The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. And in this book there's a Crown's Game which features magical duels. The winners become the highest respected advisor to the queen and the losers die. I've been wanting to get my hands on this book for such a long time. But then I went and read Circle of Shadows by this author, and I did not enjoy myself at all in that book. But despite my experience with that, I've been wanting to read this for such a long time, so I'm gonna give this author another try. If I don't like this book, it definitely might be my last Evelyn Skye book, but I do really think this one is right up my alley and I should love it. And my expectations are high, even though they probably shouldn't be, but they are. And the next book is The Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. So in this book, Guinevere is supposed to marry King Arthur, but then there are magical forces that are threatening the kingdom. And since Guinevere is a changeling, she is appointed by the wizard Merlin to give up her name and her identity to protect the king from those forces. So when I was younger, I was really into the King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table lore, so I figured it would be a big disservice to like 10, 12-year-old me to not read this book. And not only that, but it would also be a big disservice from me to last year, who really enjoyed the And I Darken series by this author. I'm definitely expecting good things from this, and hopefully it holds up. The next book is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. So I know this book is about two things pretty much. One, I know it has a lot to do with court politics, and those politics also kind of revolve around an arranged marriage situation. And two, I also know that there's a love triangle in here, which I'm not looking forward to at all. But I bought Dance of Thieves a while ago, not understanding that it was a spin-off or a continuation from this series right here. And once I heard that, I knew I wanted to just go and pick this one up and read that one first. So yeah, I'm just going to try to keep an open mind with this series, despite the love triangle, because I will be reading all three books at some point. So the next book is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. So our main character, she is involved with like this gang situation called the Crows. And one day the Crows are called upon to collect these dead royals for a payment. But when she goes to collect the royals, our main character realizes that the prince and his bodyguard have faked their deaths. So she won't be receiving her payment, which makes her pretty angry, so her and the prince strike up a deal. So basically, if she helps the prince get onto the throne, he will protect the Crows. So this basically just sounds perfect for me. It sounds like it has a combination of a lot of the things that I just love reading about. I cannot wait to get to this one. The next book is The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutkowski. So this is a story about the general's daughter who lives a very lavish life, and also a guy who pretty much has nothing but the clothes on his back. They fall in love, but in order to stay loyal to their own countries, they have to betray one another. So there's kind of like a star-crossed lovers vibe here. So the romance in this book sounds absolutely amazing, but I'm really nervous about it at the same time because I don't have a good track record with really loving the romance in books. And if it really feels like if I don't end up loving the romance in here, then I'm going to end up not liking the whole book, and I don't want that to happen. But if all goes well, hopefully these two will just make me feel all the feels in the world, and I'll end up completely in love with them and the story as well. And the last book on my April TBR is Wicked As You Wish by Chupeco. This book takes place after a Snow Queen wages war on the Kingdom of Avalon and basically destroys it. So the citizens and the Prince of Avalon, who is the only surviving royal member of the family, they're all forced to survive and live together in Arizona, which obviously is missing all of the magic that was present in their old kingdom. So I also mentioned this book on my channel in my last book haul. This author has also been mentioned a ton on my channel because I read The Never Tilting World a couple months ago and I really ended up enjoying that, which is why this book is here. I wanted to read all of Chupeco's other books, so I picked this one up. I definitely said in the beginning of this video that there were 11 books. There's not. There should be 12. Ruthless Gods by Emily A. Duncan is coming out April 7th. So I don't have it pre-ordered. I do plan to put in a book order later towards the beginning of April, unless something happens and everything just gets completely shut down. I may or may not be able to get my hands on it. So it's kind of like 11 with a little asterisk next to it because it definitely could be 12. Because if all goes well, I definitely plan to read that book this month. Oh my gosh. You're just running wild, aren't you? I don't know if you can hear all the noise this one is making in the background, but she is the culprit of it if you can. So that being said, that's the end of this video. I'm gonna try to get this wrapped up quickly because my cat is absolutely losing her mind as she's almost taken down my whole setup like 5 times and I'm getting scared. She's having a lot of fun, so I'm happy for her. So let me know if there's anything you're excited to read during April. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!